AQSKU allows you to move data from your ERP system into AutoQuotes. And so one of the prerequisites is obviously that you have an ERP system and you're tracking inventory. Now in that ERP system, you might have multiple fields that you track. You might have a stock model number that correlates to a manufacturer's model number. You might have your own pricing levels and warehouse levels and a myriad of information. What you'll need to do is be able to export that information out of your ERP to a CSV file, and that CSV file is the file we'll upload into AutoQuotes. So this is just an example. It's actually got everything filled out on it. It's basically all the fields, almost all the fields that you can fill out. Yours will not be this extensive, I almost guarantee it. But this is an example file just to show you everything that is possible. We're going to upload this file, and then we're going to look at that data in AutoQuotes and see what that looks like. So you can see here I have a manufacturer's model number column. I have my stock model number column. I have an alt stock number column. My manufacturer name. I actually have a branded manufacturer name. This is actually pretty cool. If you have your own manufacturer, if you want to brand items to your own company, then you could actually have your own manufacturer in AutoQuotes and then link that so that when you add that to a project in AutoQuotes, that item, though it may be a Cleveland range item or whatever, will come in with your name as the manufacturer. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So manufacturer ID, this is an important column. These IDs, we'll talk about that more, but this ensures that we have proper linking between your vendor and the one that came out of your ERP and the one that we have in AutoQuotes. So these numbers are actually populated in AutoQuotes, and I'll tell you where to find those. You might also, as we spoke about earlier, have your own spec information. You could possibly have your own list price information. And if we look down a little further, now in this particular CSV file, I've actually added 3 warehouses and I've added 3 pricing levels. Now typically you won't find both being used. You'll either have pricing levels, and those will typically be for contract and non-contract or specialized account types. And then you'll also have maybe warehouses. And typically on warehouses, you would maybe just have quantities. And you may even have warehouse pricing, but typically you're not going to use pricing levels and warehouse pricing. You're going to have one or the other. So we'll look at that in a moment. But just so you know, I have this is coming out of my ERP as well, so I have 3 columns here. I have a non-contract pricing level, I have a contract pricing level, and then I have a government price level. Okay, so there's a government contract basically. And then I have 3 warehouses. I have a California, a North Carolina, and a Texas warehouse. Now my California warehouse, I'm listing quantity on hand, and I'm also throwing in some net prices for those items at that particular warehouse. Same thing for my North Carolina warehouse. I have quantities on hand and net prices specific to that warehouse. And then on my Texas warehouse, I have the same, quantity on hand and net prices specific to that warehouse. Moving a little bit further, I have notes. Now these are the notes that you typically would find in the AQ catalog. Well, here we're actually allowing you to take the notes that you have in your ERP system and populate that notes column. So this is just notes that I have about products, might be relevant to quantities, and so many ordered gives you free shipping and so forth. So that's just the notes column that populates. That's what that is right there. Now I also have another notes column in my ERP. This one's interesting. It actually shows the page number and item W, like in a catalog. Now this will be very helpful for my salespeople if I actually do produce a paper catalog and I provide that to customers. They can then call up and maybe tell me this is, hey, I'm interested in a particular piece of equipment, and you can actually direct them to the catalog page and item number on that page, or notation of where that's located on the page. By just looking the item up in the AQ catalog. So it's nice to have that information there. I will show you where that populates as well once we get over to AutoQuotes. And then we have the product URL as well. This is another custom column that I'm pushing out of my ERP system, and I want to map those web addresses to the details panel so that when my salesperson is out in the field, if maybe I have an e-commerce site and the customer sees wants to ask me about a particular product they saw on a website, they can give me the product number. I can look it up in AutoQuotes, and then I can just click the link and go look and see what the customer is looking at. Maybe there's a difference in price between what I'm quoting him and what he's seeing on the e-commerce site, or maybe I just want to look at the product that he's looking at. So this could be included as well in the details panel.